there are 3 teams, including Hayes, with 1 loss, and 6 teams that have lost twice. Northwest took those 2 early losses to Carroll and Capon, but this team, long known for their scoring, is still averaging 555 yards per game. Hayes High last week beat Mays South, which is the best win in the 4-year Tony Crow time. Hayes High so far this season has averaged 446 yards. Jaron Canick, of course, 1,000 on the ground, but Northwest has their 3-headed backfield: Moore, Thompson, and L.J. Phillips. Like, overall, Northwest playing at home has a slight edge here.
Matt, back to you. A big one in Class 3A as second-ranked Wichita Collegiate travels to top-ranked Andale.
Yeah, it seems like, Sean, every year we have all of these very highly anticipated games, district games, amongst ranked teams, and it's always in the last week of the season, kind of as a tune-up as we head into the playoffs. Collegiate and Andale is no different. Both teams unbeaten. They've been number 1 and number 2 virtually all season, and this one's going to decide the District 7 championship. And so, if you'll remember, Collegiate was 10-2 last year, got to the state semis, but Andale had blown them out twice, 43-14 in districts, and then 49-0 in that last semifinal game. So, Dylan Schmidt at Anvil still has not lost a regular season game since he's taken over as coach, and they're doing it with an incredible amount of depth. They've won 32 straight games, and they've just been dominant, no doubt about it. Collegiate, on the other hand, they're trying to snap a 6-game losing streak in this series, and it all comes down to their junior quarterback, Wesley Fair. He's an outstanding athlete. He's one of the top athletes in the state, and this is a team coming off putting up 82 points last week against Halstead for over 580 yards of offense, and so very explosive as well, but I think Andale's just going to be too tough defensively, and I think they're going to get the win.
Matt, we will stick with you. A big one in Southeast Kansas as 6-1 Frontenac travels to unbeaten Girard.
Yeah, this is one down in Southeast Kansas that folks have been circling for a long time here this season. So you've got Girard, who remained unbeaten at 7-0, as you mentioned. Frontenac with just that one loss, and it came to Oklahoma 5A power Coweta, who is still just with 1 loss on their season, I believe. So should be an outstanding game. These teams are getting after it quite a bit. This is going to decide the district championship game down there, and I think that I think Frontenac's going to obviously be a defensive team that maybe Girard hasn't seen. It's going to be kind of a slugfest. They've got their outstanding player in Landon Dean. Colin McCartney is a great player as well for Frontenac, and they're very good up front on both sides of the ball. So it'll be a big test for Girard. But Girard's a team that's averaging nearly 39 points a game this year. Luke Nickerman's done an outstanding job as their quarterback, and Coach Neil Philpott has really put in an offense that's hard to prepare for. And so I think it's going to be a great low-scoring game. I think Frontenac may be a little bit better, but I can see this one going either way. It should be an outstanding game.
And Matt, a big one in Class 2A as 4th-ranked Chaparral, the Roadrunners at 7-0, visits 6-1 Kingman.
Yeah, Central Plains League game, and you mentioned it's going to decide the District 6 championship. Chaparral may be the most surprising team in the state this year under first-year head coach J.C. Zradnik. This is a team that's unbeaten after going 2-6 last year, and frankly, their last 4 games of last year, they were outscored 160-2. So, really struggled down the stretch, and it's really changed with Wyatt Druhard, their senior quarterback, who came out to play football for the first time again since 8th grade. He's thrown for over 1,800 yards and 25 touchdowns, and so they've been explosive. Big key win over Garden Plain, a few weeks ago, 41-21, and so we'll talk about that a little bit as well, as that's going to be a key as we can kind of compare scores a little bit here. But Kingman's going to be a different challenge, a low-scoring defensive type team. They defeated Garden Plain last week 10-7, so Kingman's won 6 straight games since they opened the season with that loss to Cheney. And in just their last 5 games, they've only allowed 14 total points. Nolan Friend, their quarterback, is over 1,200 yards passing and 12 touchdowns. I think this is going to be a great game, but don't be surprised if Kingman gets the victory here and pulls what some may view as a slight upset.
Connor, back to you. Big one in Class 1A. A second-ranked Inman travels to third-ranked Smith Center.
Yeah, and Smith Center won this game by 7 points last season. Inman basically brought everybody back, and I has been one of the top stories of 2021. They have outscored opponents 114-3. Inman has actually scored more points off safeties this year, 4 loud points. Obviously, Dirksen, Blank, Conrady, Brunk, Heckel, a lot of great skill guys, but Inman's extremely sound. Smith Center, of course, has done with us at a strong ground game. Has 4 backs, including Freeman, Montgomery, Kirchhoff, Jager, who all carry the ball a lot. Smith Center has averaged more than 330 yards on the ground, and an SC has not lost a regular season game at home since Week 9 of the 2015 season. That loss was to Peaburg. Peaburg had a lot of similar traits to what Smith Center, to what Inman currently has, an experienced quarterback and a great passing game. I think Smith Center can hold down Inman, but Inman's overall attack, and especially Dirksen passing it, gives Inman a slight edge in what has been an historic season.
Lastly, Connor, a big one in Class 1A is 4th-ranked and unbeaten Sedgwick travels to 6-1 Conway Springs.
Yeah, and obviously last year Conway Springs ran for 531 yards. They got out to a fairly sizable lead and held on for a 1-score win. Of course, everybody knows Sedgwick, the quarterback, Lance Hoffsommer, has had a tremendous career, but some of those other things that I think Sedgwick has the overall edge here. They've got some very, very good slot wideouts, but Sedgwick in the past has had some small lines. This year they've got a very sizable line. Tillman up front, Warner as well too. Of course, Tillman is also the kicker, who should break the all-time Kansas kick scoring record in probably Week 10. Billups for Conway has been a very good quarterback for Conway, but overall I just think that Sedgwick has too much talent, too much experience up front, and has learned from some past losses. Coach Warner told me this week that Sedgwick has always played fast, but once they get leads now in big games, they're going to try to slow things down. Those are things that Sedgwick is going to try and change to make that elusive first ever deep playoff run. Sedgwick has never made it past the quarterfinals in their school, and they could take a big, big step with a quality win tomorrow night.
And that will wrap up this week's edition of the Kansas Kickoff Show. Special thanks to Matt Gilmore from KPreps.com, Chad Copeland from Sports in Kansas, as well as KPreps and Sports in Kansas contributor Connor Nickel, as well as our great sponsors, American Implement, Next Tech Wireless, The Safe Project, and Think Before You Post. And don't forget to visit at KPreps and at Sports in Kansas on Twitter throughout the night and throughout the weekend for recaps, highlights, and notes from week number 8. Again, that's going to do it for tonight's program. Hope you all enjoy week number 8 of the high school football season right here in the state of Kansas. I'm Sean Boston saying so long. You've been listening to the Kansas Kickoff Show.
You've been listening to the Kansas Kickoff Show, powered by KPreps.com and Sports in Kansas.
Junction City High School Blue Jay football is on the air. Our pregame show sponsored by Central National Bank. And with the broadcast for tonight's game, Dewey Terrill and Brian Field.
And a pleasant good evening and welcome to Blue Jays Stadium, where tonight the Junction City Blue Jays match up against the Highland Park Scots. It is senior recognition night here at JCHS. Joined as always tonight by Brian Field. The Blue Jays come in pretty big favorites. They are 6-1. Highland Park has not won a ball game this year, and Brian, Junction City does still want to get off to a pretty good start.
Yeah, in fact, they do. But Dewey, as you mentioned, Highland Park's down. Not only have they not won a game this year, they have not not won a football game since 2014. So that makes it awfully tough. And, you feel for these kids because they have 28 kids on their roster. These kids will come play hard. They're much improved this year. I was a fan of their coach, Mike Forestieri. He was a good coach. He was there for a few years and was trying to turn this program around and was in the process of doing that. I'm not sure why he's not at Highland Park anymore. He may have decided to move on. But now they have a first-year coach in Jermaine Monroe, and he kind of picked up where Coach Forestieri left off. He's got these kids fired up to play, and they've actually had some close games against Topeka West, some close games against or a close game against Emporia, and so and they had a close game against Atchison. And so this is a team that can come out and play football every now and then, and when they do and they put it together, they can move the football, and their defense isn't bad. They've got a pretty good secondary. They have some experienced players, some returning players, Dewey, and the one thing that you have to watch out for against a team like this, Dewey, like you said, if you come out and take them lightly, you never know what can happen, and the Blue Jays cannot do that. In fact, last week they did not come out strong against Emporia in the first quarter, and they finally turned things around in the second quarter.
Junction City comes in, as I said, 6-1. If they win tonight, they clinch at least a share of the Centennial League championship. They're currently tied for first with Manhattan and Washburn Rural. Rural's got the tough game tonight. Topeka Seaman. Manhattan is at Emporia. You're listening to the Central National Bank pregame show on 107.9 FM, 1420 KJCK, and JC Post live stream tonight. We're going to take a break here and come back and talk with Tim Testa. The cross-country regionals are tomorrow at Milford State Park. We'll be back with that interview right after this.
Central National Bank's locally financed auto loans make buying the car you want smart, easy, and affordable. Visit centralnational.com and apply online, or give your local branch a call and get started on the open road. Find the car you want and tell them it's Central Time. Central National Bank. It's money for life the way we live and drive today. Offer credit subject to credit approval.
Central National Bank. Money for life.
Member FDIC in your hometown since 1884.
We're talking with Junction City High School cross-country coach Tim Testa, and a huge day Saturday. Tell us what is planned and where.
We're back at Bob Schmeichel cross-country course, the regional championships. Spot on the line for the state meet for both the boys and the girls. It's going to be a very nerve-wracking morning, but I think the kids are ready and we're excited.
Tell me how many can qualify for state.
We'll get 3 teams out of each gender, so 3 boys teams will get in, 3 girls teams will get in, and then there's individual qualifiers that get in as well, and those are the first 5 athletes that are not on those 3 teams that'll qualify through.
How did we get lucky enough to have both Centennial and Regional here this year?
We volunteered for the region. Centennial is always, I think it's alphabetical, and it just happened to be our year, but we wanted to host the region. We think it gives us a little bit of an advantage. Obviously, we know the course better than everybody. It's just kind of a little home cooking kind of thing for us, so we're excited.
Who are the top boys?
As far as the team goes, Manhattan and Lawrence Free State are really good, and then it's honestly up to us and Washburn Rural kind of fighting for that 3rd spot, and then it's the same cast of characters on the girls side, but Washburn's very good on the girls side, and then Manhattan probably comes in right behind them, and then it's our girls fighting against Lawrence Free State for the last spot.
Tell me about your top people.
Our top guy right now has been Tyler Atkins all year. He's been running really well. A little bit banged up with an injury last week, so he didn't quite run as good as he wanted to at the Centennial, but he'll bounce back. He'll be ready to go. And on the girls' side, Brenna York has been a pretty consistent number 1 for us. She's running great. She's just a little knuckleheaded sophomore, just figuring stuff out, and we're lucky to have all our kids, but those 2 have been leading us all year.
Good luck on Saturday.
Thank you, sir.
I'll be back right after this.
If you've had past banking challenges, it's Central Time. Start over with a financial partner who can help you adapt in an ever-changing world with New Opportunity Checking from Central National Bank. It's money for life for the way you live today. Find out more. Check New Opportunity Checking at centralnational.com. Account opening subject to qualification. Restrictions may apply.
Central National Bank. Money for life.
Member FDIC in your hometown since 1884.
And welcome back to the Central National Bank pregame show. Of course, we're as always in the Central National Bank press box in Bryan Field. It's senior recognition night. They've been introducing the seniors, their families down on the field. That's a long-time tradition here at Junction City High School.
It is, and across the nation, really, and rightfully so. These kids put in a lot of years. You want to recognize these seniors for making it all the way through the elementary, junior high, high school. They're getting ready to graduate. You want to thank their leadership and their parents especially, because, parents don't always get enough credit anymore, but, making sure that they get their kids through school. So that's an important thing, and it's nice that they do that. They line the parents up there on the 30, 35-yard line. The kids will come out, the players, the seniors, the football team lines up on each side. The seniors come in between them out of the tunnel, and then they run over across the 50-yard line to their parents, and then there's a giant photo, and then Coach Zimmerman goes and shakes everybody's hand and all the hoopla, which is good stuff. And also tonight, though, I do want to mention, Dewey, the players, they have not done this. They changed their mind this year, and I think that was a good thing. They just wanted to wear pink one time. So tonight, for breast cancer awareness, the players are wearing just pink socks. They decided they didn't need all the wristbands and everything and individualism. They decided as a team they were going to wear pink socks. And so Coach Zimmerman got the pink socks. They're all wearing pink socks tonight, but it is pink out here at Blue Jay Stadium. I almost said Al Simpler again, but Blue Jay Stadium. And you can see people with their pink T-shirts on, their pink jackets. You've got pink pom-poms by the dance team and the cheerleaders, and even on the other side, Highland Park, it looks like maybe they brought some pink tonight too. So it's nice. It's a good thing that you honor that, and it's on senior night. So some good things tonight here at Blue Jay Stadium. We've got the video board now showing photos of the seniors and when they were young, and then pictures now, and so that's kind of cool. It's always fun. There's Demarion Sellers when he was just a baby, and now there's a picture of him now in his football uniform. So cool things that they do here. And Brooke Swango, there's a picture of her. She's dressed up there, one of her senior photo there, and then also her as a baby. So anyway, Cody Sharp. So it's neat to see these seniors, and we'll name as many of these seniors as we can throughout the night. Dewey, there's 20 of them, it looks like, as I went through this roster. 20 of them left. I'm not sure how many started, but there are 20 of them currently on the Junction City Blue Jay football roster.
All right, well, it's senior night, as we said, senior recognition night. We're going to take a break here in the pregame show and hear what Coach Randall Zimmerman has to say for Junction City. That's coming up next.
Junction City Blue Jays play the Highland Park Scots tonight. Welcome back to the Central National Bank pregame show with Randall Zimmerman. You're big favorites, but tell me about this game, kind of how you sizes that for your team.
Well, it all comes down to us, and we had a really, really good week of practice, and hopefully we put it together out here tonight against a much improved Highland Park team. They really are improved. They have some really, really good talent, but they just haven't quite been able to get over the top. But scored a lot of points on people, have had very high scoring games with some people, and but it has to be about us. We got to come out, we got to be in position defensively, and we have to really execute and play very, very fast offensively. And our special teams have been a lot better as of late, and we just need to continue to look for improvement there.
As I recall, they did push Emporia pretty hard.
They did. They should have beaten Emporia, really, and they scored 48 points, I think, on Topeka West. And we're in the game, had a good game against Topeka High, and Topeka Seaman as well. I mean, they have played people well this year, and those guys have done a really good job with them. They've really made big strides, but we just got to make sure that we're playing well, we're playing fast, we're in position, playing with great discipline, those kind of things here tonight.
This is your last game with Highland Park, probably. They're going to a new league.
Yeah, they are going to a new league, and then, so the last time we'll see them, and wish them luck there. We just got to make sure, we're taking care of business tonight here on senior night. If we could get through it and win it, this group of seniors will have we'll have a share of the league championship, which would be really, really neat for them, especially the kind of challenging years we've had the last couple of years, and they've been a part of that for the last 3 years. So that's been a really good thing, and it'd be a lot of fun for them to celebrate that in the locker room afterwards, and then we'll see where we're at in the playoffs. We'll have a home game for sure. If we beat Highland Park, and then don't know who that opponent will be yet, but then we just got to take it one game at a time from there on out.
Yeah, we don't know yet who the final opponents will be. Is David Rowell back for you tonight?
We're not sure. It'll be a game time thing with David. He's been practicing the last couple of weeks, but just waiting to be cleared completely. So we'll have that, and I'm sorry I don't have that for you right now, but it'll be just before 7:00 we come out that they'll let us know one way or the other.
Young kids that impressed you, some of the new ones coming up.
Sean DeBlick, I think you were at practice last night and you saw that, Sean got the chain, which goes out to, our kids give that out and they pass it on to each other, but it goes to the kid that impressed him the most during the week. Had, great discipline in the locker room, doing things right in school, really working hard out here and is here every snap for the betterment of the team. And Randall Banks passed that on to Sean DeBlick, and very, very well deserved. He's a sophomore kid. It's kind of been thrown in there, but he's improved tremendously this year. Very undersized, maybe 5'6", 135 pounds, but really holds his own because he's always in position. He's very football smart and does a good job and really works hard. And he's here for the team first, and that's what everybody has to be. And that's what our kids, we had a really, really good week, and I think our kids improved in that aspect tremendously. And we still have little things going on that kids do, but far less this week than what we've had. So, hopefully that'll show up here tonight.
Good luck.
Thanks, dude. Thanks for having us.
I'll be back right after this.
For more than 40 years, Dell Motors has been your hometown dealer in Junction City. Right on the presidential corner of Grant and Washington, you'll find a staff of Junction City locals who want to make your buying experience as easy as possible. Whether it's helping you find a car that's more affordable or one with more size, or even if you just need more information to see if buying is right for you, Dell Motors is here. Dell Motors, Grant and Washington in Junction City, and always on at DellMotors.com.
Geary County is hiring, and they want to employ some of the amazing people in our community. They offer a large array of employment opportunities, and all full-time positions include a full benefits package with add-on options to best customize your needs. Their benefits are affordable, and their pay is competitive. Geary County is your home, so why not work to make your home a better place? You can find all their open positions and apply online at GaryCounty.org under the Employment tab. That's GaryCounty.org. Live here, work here, grow here at Geary County.
The Blue Jays on 107.9 FM and 1420 KJCK.
And welcome back to the Central National Bank pregame show ahead of the kickoff tonight between the Junction City Blue Jays and the Highland Park Scots. And Brian, one thing I look at as I look down on the field, Highland Park has very few players, 23 players suited up tonight. That's barely enough to run too deep.
Yeah, no, and in fact, but you got to give those kids credit, and I don't want to get into the whole open boundaries thing in 501 and how I feel about that, because I just feel like maybe in some ways these Highland Park kids are getting the short end of the stick, because they come out and play hard. They're good kids. I really liked their head coach before, Mike Forestieri. He was a guy that really understood these kids and wanted to work hard for them and wanted what was best for them and wanted to see them be successful, and kept this group of juniors now together from the time they were freshmen. He did not have any of them play JV or varsity when they were freshmen. So this group of juniors, which is a good portion of their ball team tonight, and some of their ball handling players, they have been together for 3 years, and so you like to see these guys grow together, and that was Mike Forestieri's goal. He has now left Highland Park, and so the new coach, first-year head coach, is Jermaine Monroe, and he's picked up where Coach Forestieri left off, and he has these kids coming out and playing hard, and they're doing some good things, Dewey. You watch these players. They don't give up. They had close games against Topeka West, Atchison, and Emporia. They did end up losing all three of those games. They actually did lead West. It's been a few weeks ago, and you and I and Jackson were kind of watching that game closely because we wanted to see them maybe get a win, but they did end up losing that game. And so anyway, it's just one of those things where you just got to come out and keep playing and see what happens, and that's what that's what Highland Park does, Topeka Highland Park. And you're right, just the 23 kids or so on their roster, and but they will come out and play you hard, and the Blue Jays cannot take them lightly. Last week the Blue Jays maybe didn't come out quite as fired up as they needed to be in that first